We sat down to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it is the greatest film of all time. Whittleby, I could not imagine a Whittleby Griddle film.
Me personally, I think that James Pedo Gunn Superman would be better if it was Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill is the best Superman because he is Sigma, unlike gay, woke, diaper man. Sigma. Superman's not in the movie that we watched, actually.
I mean, we didn't watch the whole movie.
From the half that we
and
watched.
We didn't
From
watch
what
the whole
we're
movie.
what we're gonna talk about doesn't have Superman.
So,
but it is
when
Superman.
I want to say it was Dune Part 2, which has been a couple years ago now at this point, at the point of recording. I went and saw it at a city close to mine, probably an hour away, whatever. We went to the IMAX theater, we did the whole thing, and me and my sister and my dad went out after the movie to get dinner. And we went to a Martha Stewart family-style restaurant.
Okay.
And we're sitting, and the waiter comes up, and he says, "What would you like to order?" And I bit my tongue, trying not to laugh.
It is
and so he asked, and I say, "I want water," whatever. We order our food.
Water.
He walks away, and I look at my sister, and I go, so this boy got a Fortnite accent. And she looks at me straight-faced and said, "Do you mean a speech impediment?" And that really happened to me.
But yeah, it's the same thing. It's funny, though, that you brought up Dune 2, because I thought when you brought that up, you were going to compare that to the pacing of this movie.
No, Dune 2 is paced so much better than this movie.
But Dune 2, it's sort of the same effect of this, in that we watched
the first half of a movie.
We watched the 2-hour-long first half of a movie, which is what Dune 1 was. Next week we'll get to watch Dune 2, which is the 2-hour-long second half of this movie.
Yeah, but the difference
is so much worse than Dune 2.
The difference is the first Dune feels like a movie and also doesn't.
I mean, yes, it does more so than this one, but it's so clear that the first Dune it's a movie based off of the setup of a book.
Yeah,
it's just like there's,
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Yeah, I understand. This is a little different because we did not watch Zack Snyder's Justice League the way it's intended to be watched, which is to sit down for 4 hours, mind you.
Because we didn't watch it in black and white.
I can't understand why someone would say, "Here's a 4-hour movie. Watch it all in one sitting."
Because Zack Snyder, he's Zack Snyder,
and maybe for the theatrical experience, because I do understand that too. Like, movies are not filmed for the home viewing experience, despite the fact that I think they probably should be more often than not.
I think that's worse for this, because 4 hours in a movie theater, I'm pissing like 3 times at least.
Sure,
like,
and we did that,
dude. Like I did, yeah. But I was able to. You were able
the movie theater effect, like.
It's everything's better in a movie theater, of course, because it's
The problem is this movie was not intended to be released theatrically.
Sure, in fact, it wasn't at all.
It never was. They'd had a limited release.
Okay,
and according to the cult, it was supposed to be. This was the theatrical version of Justice League, which is such a joke.
Oh yeah, this was the original. This was his original vision. Yeah, sure. Whatever, fucking nerds.
I think next week is going to be great. I think next week will be
Hmm.
some of the most fun we've had watching a movie on this podcast
Maybe, yeah.
because we love
It's at least the better part of
superheroes,
this movie. Superman and
Superman,
superheroes and
Batman. We
Batman.
did cut it
We'll
right
finally
before
get to see
Batman.
Batman. We didn't see
Um,
any Batman
we
in
literally
this,
got
yeah.
we got an hour and
We
50
literally
minutes.
just watched an hour and 50 minutes of setup,
For a
but
movie we didn't get to see.
at least we saw Flash being autistic as fuck.
I don't want to talk about it. We have
He's
to. That's
just
the podcast.
so
That's what we
autistic.
do.
We'll get there. I mean, that's all we're going to talk about is
Before we jump into the real discussion, go ahead and send this to someone you know who really likes microwaved hot dogs.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead and send this to someone you know who is just really autistic and like not in a fun way, just like they annoy you, but like you're still chill with them because that's your dog, but they're just like a really annoying kind of autistic person.
So when I was in elementary school, there was this kid who
You
had
were that person, yeah.
no, there was this kid who I went to elementary school kid who had really severe autism. And
Sure.
he was the I feel like this is for our generation a pretty common experience where the autistic kid feels really popular and feels like they're really good friends with everybody because everybody wants to hang out
Oh
with the autistic
yeah,
kid because they make them laugh.
for sure.
Problem with this kid was he loved to just pull his wiener out
My brother's
all
another me.
all the time. You'd be in the line in the cafeteria and this kid would just unzip his fly and pull his whole wiener out. And he did
Man,
it.
like I was
He got sent to the office, the principal's office,
oh god.
so many times because he just
Bro, I'm sorry,
loved.
but that shit is so fucking funny,
It
dude. I'm
is
sorry.
so
I'm
funny.
sorry, woke America, but that is hilarious.
It happened all the time, and I remember the first time it
Oh
happened. I
fuck.
was in like second grade, and it was in the bathroom, the men's bathroom, and it was so funny. And I may be the reason because people with super severe autism, when they receive positive social feedback, tend
Mm,
to do the same thing repeatedly because they
for
received
sure,
positive
yeah.
social feedback. But I dapped that man up. I laughed like because it was so funny. And
That
but he
is
did it forever.
incredible.
And by the time we get to 5th grade, we're talking like 3 years of this. It was just like, okay, man. Like you got to
Enough's
stop.
enough. Come on, put your fucking dick away, dude. Like, God, man, yeah,
Once he started doing
and
it in
that's
front of the huz, once he started doing it in front of the
that's
girls, it was like,
enough.
dude,
Enough is
you gotta
enough,
chill.
dude.
But it
Well,
was
yeah,
like
when
middle of the
you in
cafeteria.
kindergarten, you doing that shit, it's something. But it's like, come on.
He'd do it in the line.
We in fifth grade now. We trying to get
We
some huds.
grown, dog. We
We
grown,
grown. We trying
dog.
to get shotties, dude. Like,
But
come
yeah, like he'd
on.
do it in the line around the boys, and we'd be like, "Yeah, that's what's up." And then he'd just do it walking back to the table in the cafeteria, like just full chode, just out. It was
Jesus fucking
crazy.
Christ.
So go ahead and send this to
White
someone you
people
know
know.
who has done that. Send this to someone you know who's pulled his wiener out in front of women
Send this to someone you
without their
know
consent. I should
who
specify.
sure. Send this to someone you know who has been to Iceland and seen a weird Icelandic cult of Icelandic women singing for some weird merman kind of guy.
Send this to someone you know
Send
who's
this to
cracking
someone
open a
who's a
Bapple.
Bapple. Yes, sir. This is a liquor store, but not a Bapple store.
Another personal story. This is the theme of
Send
this
this to
episode.
someone who is a
So
Bapple fan.
so I'm searching for Bapple. It's that time of
Mhm.
year. It's the Bapple
Is
search.
that what this episode's going to be? It's just just telling personal stories and not talking about the movie because I'm
Maybe it's
fine with
just
that. Oh
it's
no,
us
it's
avoiding
easier.
talking about the first half of Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm searching for Bapple. I'm on the Bapple search,
Uh-huh.
and I call several liquor stores a day in my
As you do,
search.
yeah.
Um, and I called this one. It's 5 minutes before they close. and I call and
See,
I say,
I don't think you mentioned that when
I
you told me
didn't, I
the
didn't.
story,
It's 5 minutes before they
but
close,
that adds to it. That
and
makes
I
sense.
say, hey, do you guys have Busch apple in stock? And the guy just goes, this is the liquor store, not the Bapple store. And then he hangs up on me right on the spot.
God.
Um,
Yeah, that's a good one.
it was a
That's
good,
yeah.
yeah, it was solid. And the thing is, I've been to that liquor store and I know they sell beer. Like that's the problem.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
No,
got a
he
few
just knows they
cans.
don't have Apple.
Shout out my wife.
Right. Shout out Dalton's wife. Hook me up with a couple Bapple. Tell your wife to send
Here,
me a
you want
few
a sip?
Bapple. Give me a sip of that Bapple. Let me get a sip of that.
Nobody can see this. We don't have
Oh,
video.
that kind of tastes like Coors Banquet.
Dude, if I went into a Bapple to take a sip and then tasted a Coors Banquet, I would be so disappointed. Not that I don't like Coors Banquet.
I wouldn't be that disappointed. If it yeah, no, I would be though. I'm lying. But
So we watched Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Zack Snyder's Justice
And
League.
the way
The
we're breaking this
Snyder
up,
Cut. Hashtag release the Snyder Cut.
hashtag restore the Snyderverse.
Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. That's
We're
our
we're
title
working
for
our
this.
way through Zack Snyder's DC trilogy.
Right.
Um
I'm
Zack
doing it in
Snyder,
12
like for a
parts
little
because this movie's so
clarification, I
long.
guess, just if you don't know, if you weren't around, Zack Snyder was never in charge of the DCEU.
Right.
Zack Snyder was just a
In fact, I
director. He
think
was the Russo brothers equivalent to
yeah.
the MCU, whereas like Kevin
I
Feige,
think at this time in DC, I think Nolan might have been
I don't
like he
think they
wasn't in
had a guy in
in
charge.
charge. Nolan wasn't like he wasn't the
Nolan
guy
was a
in charge,
producer on
but
several of the movies.
he was a producer on several, but he was also like he had a some sort of high level like at DC, like he was one of their main studio guys, I think. Him and I think after him was I don't know if he was at this point, but James Wan
Hmm.
was
Because
also
James Wan
like
directed
one of those high
Aquaman.
level. He directed Aquaman, and then after that, I think
That's
they made like
before, because
he
because
did
Nolan
some
left
sort of
Warner Brothers. He doesn't distribute through Warner Brothers anymore.
right.
Um, Zack Snyder has kind of received this cult following of like being the head of
Hell of a
DC,
cult
right?
following.
He was the head of it. He was kind of in charge of all of it. He was the one orchestrating everything. That wasn't really what was happening. Zack Snyder
No.
directed Man of Steel. Man of Steel was
Mhm.
received fairly positively. So Zack Snyder came in and
Relatively, yeah.
directed Batman versus Superman. Batman versus Superman
Mhm.
was received negatively, but made a lot of money.
Well, it was yeah, it was received negatively, got a lot of money, and then had a
Which, of course,
very
it did.
but also it had a very vocal minority of people saying it was the greatest thing
I
ever
don't even
made.
think that was going on. Like thinking back to
Or
2016,
back in the no, dude, there were back in the day, a lot of people were dick riding that from the
I don't think
start.
nearly as many people liked
No,
it.
not as many as now, but or as like a few years ago even, but like but there initially there were quite a
I can
few
think of a
Snyder bros
couple.
off rip.
He had like nice
I mean,
cast.
not anything I knew personally, but I just mean general audience wise. Like
Maybe so.
there was a vocal minority of people saying like this is crack, this is
But there
awesome,
was
this is
also a vocal majority saying this is awful,
sure,
which led to
yeah,
what happened. And I don't want to get into the specifics because Zack Snyder's daughter passed away during the production of Justice League.
right. Very unfortunate, very tragic.
It was
Rest
suicide. It
in
was
peace.
awful. Wouldn't wish that on anyone. And so when it happened, the public story, at least, was that Zack Snyder decided to step away from the project to care for his family, and then Warner Brothers hired Joss Whedon to step
Right, which
in.
you say the public story like, and I know you've said that you don't believe the public story. You say it like you don't, and I personally I do. I think that's a
No, no, no. I
reasonable
think that's
thing,
very
but
well what could have happened. I just
Well,
the
I think you
story
said
that's being
before that,
told currently by both
mhm,
Snyder's cult and seemingly Zack Snyder himself doesn't match
right,
with this story, if that makes sense.
interesting. It doesn't, but
Zack Snyder seems to imply in the way he talks about Justice League that he got fired. Snyder's cult seems to imply by the way
I
that,
don't think he does. I don't think I've maybe I haven't. I don't pay attention to Zack
well,
Snyder.
I mean, if you
I've
if
never
you
seen
quit
that
your
implied. I've seen
job,
that implied from the cult, but
if you
I've
quit
never
your
seen that
job,
from him.
regardless of the circumstances, somebody's going to step in to finish your job. And then to turn
Yeah,
around and be upset that that person finished your job feels like you're implying that you were, you know what I mean? It feels like you're implying that you were
sure,
fired.
sure.
And then the cult has kind of taken that and run with it. So Joss Whedon was hired to come in, finish the movie. Apparently, um, according to what I can remember from this, because I'm not looking any of this up on the spot, 70% or so of the movie was reshot
Right.
and or re-edited for what
Mhm.
became the theatrical version of Justice League. It's a movie that I kind of have fond-ish memories for, but don't
I remember
love.
I granted, I don't know that I've ever rewatched the theatrical version of Justice League. I remember watching it in theaters. I liked it. It was fun. I don't know that I've ever rewatched it.
If I've seen it one other time, I think.
Mhm.
Um, so I've seen it twice, and it was what it was. It was not received
Yeah,
positively, but then again, neither was any of the DCU at this point.
right?
Um, but then came this sort of onslaught of I just internet bullying, I guess.
The hashtag released the Snyder cut of it all.
It was the, if you weren't around, it was the fix Sonic of the era,
Yeah, yeah.
which was a little more recent, but not that much more recent. I'm trying to think of a more modern
I don't even
example,
know if
but
I think Sonic might have been before Justice League,
I don't think
honestly.
so because the first Sonic came out in
Dude,
like
I think it was.
2022.
No, it didn't. First Sonic was for sure fucking pre-COVID.
Let's look this up. Um,
First Sonic was like 2019, I think.
2020.
2020, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's after this. It's after the
Right.
theatrical Justice League. Um, that's crazy. But that
That
was
is
that was
pretty
6 years
much it.
ago, you know?
That's yeah, that's the 6 years ago effect.
So so
Um,
so it was a big deal because when this movie, from the second the theatrical version of Justice League hit theaters, there
mhm.
was an online movement to release Zack Snyder's version of this movie,
Yeah,
which at this point, and I stand by
didn't
this,
exist.
did not
Didn't
exist.
exist.
There
It was
was
nothing.
no. Now, watching the
Mhm.
first half, here's what I'll say. It's very evident which scenes did exist and did not exist.
Right, for sure. Yeah.
It's in abundantly evident which scenes Zack Snyder reshot and or re-edited and or recut for this version of the movie versus not.
Right.
Then this little thing you may or may not remember called COVID-19 happened.
I was there, dude. It sucked.
So COVID happens. Everybody's locked in their house, whatever. All of these movie studios start launching their own streaming services similar to
Right.
Netflix because they don't have another way to make money. Warner Brothers releases theirs, then called HBO Max, later called Max, now called HBO Max again,
True.
and they're searching for content. What do we put on HBO Max to get people to subscribe?
I don't know. Hashtag release the Snyder cut.
They see this kind of niche ish, at this point, way less than what it
It
is
was
now.
yeah.
this sort
Yeah.
of niche-ish online movement to release the Snyder Cut. It's big enough to make waves,
It was
and
yeah,
then
it was making some waves for sure.
so they hit up Zack Snyder. They say, "Hey, we want you to do this for this amount of money," which was an exorbitant amount of money. Zack Snyder's Justice League is still, if you factor in both the original cost and the reshoot make it happen cost, the most
Mhm.
expensive movie of all time.
Really?
Yes, I've done the
Not
math on that. They
true.
don't count it as one, they count it as two separate movies.
Sure.
So Zack Snyder's Justice League was pretty cheap. I want to say it was like $70,000 or something, but when you put it against the original cost of Justice League, which
Yeah.
includes reshoots as well, but anyway,
Um,
the most expensive movie of all time, they put it all together, they package it up, they release it on HBO Max, and then that's when we finally get Zack Snyder's original vision for Justice League.
Hashtag his original vision, release the Snyder Cut.
And
So
when it came
original.
out, it was, I think, still to this day, it is the most streamed weekend release on HBO Max. Like,
Really?
there's, I think, Superman 2025 gave it a run for its money.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But it's like, this was a big deal, and it was a big deal that it came out because this is one of the first moments when we really got to see what the internet's effect on a movie studio could be.
I mean, that's the internet effect. Yeah.
Because even Sonic, which now Sonic was released a year
That was
prior
after
to
this.
this,
Oh, prime.
because this
Oh,
came out
well,
in
yeah.
2021 was when Zack
Sure,
Snyder's Justice
sure.
League came out. I think it was like January, so a year prior to this. So that's kind of an example of this, but it really is this, like, we really get to see, for maybe the first real time, what the public's opinion on a movie can direct a studio to do. And for
Right? Yeah.
that reason, I think this movie is super important for just film history, for comic book film history, all of those things. Super, super important. Now, basing it only on the first half, it
Mhm.
also is not very
It sucks.
interesting.
It sucks ass.
Like,
It's just not.
it's
It's
not.
not
There's some
fun.
stuff
It's
there's
not
some
good.
stuff I really like.
There's some good stuff. It picked up towards the end, and even in the beginning, there were a few little bits. But to be fair, it's not fair to judge the first half of a
But that's what
4 hour
we
long
decided we
movie as
were
a
gonna do.
movie.
So,
But that's what we're doing. And also, don't make a 4 hour long movie if you don't want
right.
the first half to be judged as a movie. You pretentious prick.
Let's see what we can
But
remember and just hit the highlights of the plot, I
all
guess.
right, it starts out with something.
Superman's dying. He's stabbed in the chest.
Oh yes, we get the BVS scene with the reverberating bullshit. Stupid,
Which, at
dumb,
least
dumb,
for the
dumb,
first
stupid.
half of this movie, is completely and utterly unnecessary.
Yeah.
I know it's going to come back in later, but
This is the only
I'm
time we see
judging,
Superman
and
in
this
what
is
we're
not fair
talking
of
about
me. It's not
tonight.
fair of me at all. I understand that.
Mhm.
I'm judging the first half of this movie as its own movie
Sure.
because
Which yeah,
it's a movie length.
we've decided to do that, and because it's a movie length, and because don't make a two movie length movie if you don't want them to be judged as two movies. I'm not sitting down watching a 4 hour long movie. I'm watching two hour long movies. You know what I'm saying?
And Superman is not even mentioned in the first 2 hours of
Yeah.
this movie outside of this opening scene. And now
Ah.
I understand not showing him. I
Yeah.
understand saving that for the end. Literally not mentioned. Nobody's like, "Oh, I miss Superman." Lois Lane gets a cup of coffee,
Mhm.
delivers it to a cop, and stands at Superman's memorial. His name's not
Uh,
mentioned.
Martha,
Gets in
save
her truck
Martha.
and drives away.
She drives her U-Haul 'cause she's moving out of the farmhouse.
That's it.
That's it. That's it.
And
That's
that's
it.
another
And
thing,
that's the
like,
beginning of the
comparing
movie.
this
That's
to the theatrical version, which is significantly worse than this. I understand. The opening of the theatrical version is so great.
Yeah, it's
If you
so
had
much more
taken
fun.
that and pulled it over to this and made that
Mhm.
the opening instead of this,
And we'll
now
get
what
there,
you've done,
maybe,
maybe, now what you've done
potentially, very likely,
is
but
you've set up, man, Superman's gone. That's why we need a Justice League. Because I really
right,
think that should have been the driving force. And it sort of is,
sure.
but it's sort of not. Because Zack Snyder's introducing all of these things, and Steppenwolf is there, and the parademons are
It's just
there.
it's so much, and all of that. Most of that comes from this is
A
the
4 hour long movie.
third. Well, it's a 4 hour long, but it's the Justice League movie is the third, kind of fourth if you count Wonder Woman, which is a prequel, but it's the third movie in this universe, in this DC extended universe,
A
which starts with
Snyderverse.
Superman. This hashtag restore the Snyderverse, which starts with Superman, and then we get Superman versus Batman, and also Wonder Woman's there, and then now we're in the Justice League, but Superman's also dead.
You know what would have been a more
Like, what are we doing here,
compelling?
man?
You know what would have been a more compelling setup for the Justice League?
Hmm.
I'm just gonna rewrite this. We're gonna do a Justin
Okay,
rewrites.
just yeah, do a little hashtag rewrite the movie type shit.
Hypothetically, had you done Batman establishes the Justice League, you do Justice League and BVS as one movie, and Batman is establishing the Justice League to combat Superman,
Oh, okay,
and then
interesting.
you
Well,
still get
because
the
we
little
kind of had that,
Superman
we had
fight.
that a
And
little
then
bit
maybe
in
maybe you
BVS
even pull in
with him
like the stupid
investigating
Martha
the
scene, you know, or something dumb
sure,
like that to be like, actually, I want to fight for you guys. And then that's
right.
kind of the establishment of the Justice League. And then Justice League Part 2 is
I
you fight some sort
I
of
see
like,
the
you
vision.
know what I
I
mean?
see the yeah. Well, because that's that. I mean, that's kind of already what they tried to do with BVS, right? With
Right. It
the
just doesn't work.
it's just they didn't actually introduce anyone. It was just here are these characters we're gonna introduce, except for Wonder Woman, who's got a fucking awesome theme song that gets worse in the next one. Except for the next one where it's
Well, that's this one. But
well, yeah, that's
they
the
bring
next
in the
one from that one is
now.
yeah, but it starts with the the part that's cool is when it starts. God, yeah,
And they
man,
do it so much in the first half of this movie. It is so frequent. It
yeah.
is like every 10 minutes. So,
But
but the point is there's
the
not
movie,
really a
what's
compelling reason
sure?
for Bruce to be establishing a Justice League other than the fact that Superman's dead.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the compelling reason. I think, which
But he
that
was
that makes
already
enough
working
sense.
on it before.
No, well, no, I mean not directly, no, because in BVS he kind of just stumbled upon the Justice League.
Because Lex
Like he
Luthor
was just
emailed them to him.
because well, yeah, because Lex Luthor was investigating them. He was investigating Lex Luthor. Wonder Woman stole his flash drive and then emailed him.
Right. That was it. I
Which
forgot about
was
that. Yeah.
but like what? She stole his flash drive just to whatever, man. Who cares?
But yeah, so the last movie kind of when you factor these in, because Man of Steel stands on its own. Man of Steel is a great solo movie. Justice League
It's
does not work without
it's okay solo
BVS
movie.
works without Man of Steel. Justice League does not work without BVS. So now you're at
Well,
9 hours you
sure.
got to watch for this to make
Well, but
sense.
that I mean, I don't know. To be fair, that makes sense for a Justice League movie. Like it makes sense that it would need setup because it this Justice League movie doesn't have nearly like it almost doesn't have enough setup,
Admittedly,
but
I will
also
say, and I
requires
don't
too
I
much.
don't want to do the thing where I just compare the DCEU to the MCU. But I'm going to do it here
Sure.
for this one specific. And it's been a
Okay.
long time since I've seen the first Avengers movie.
Right, right.
I feel like, in retrospect, I can clock in and watch that movie without having a prior knowledge of every single character that
Mm.
it's introduced. And
I
still
mean,
have, maybe not
mm,
understand everything perfectly, but still have a good time and based on cultural
yeah.
osmosis, understand what's happening. Simply based on the fact that Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman are three of the most famous fictional characters of all
Right.
time.
Far more recognizable, mind you, than any of the Avengers pre MCU. Avengers
Maybe
were
except for
nothing.
Captain America,
I'd say even Captain America, like I mean, Captain America was somewhat known because punching Nazis and America, but like the Avengers were fucking like bottom of the barrel schlock pre MCU. Like they were fucking nothing.
based on cultural osmosis alone, I should know enough to be invested in these characters going into
Hmm.
the movie, even if they're not introduced. I said before, we kind of rewrote how we would have released this slate of movies, and
Sure,
I
yeah.
still think a Batman Superman movie should have been the single most successful movie of all time. I said that last week.
It
I stand by
it's
that.
wild that it wasn't. Yeah.
It should have made more money than the Avengers. It should have been the first movie ever to hit
It
1.5
should have at
billion
least
dollars,
made more money than Captain America parentheses Avengers Civil War, which came out the same year as it,
which is
and
wild that those movies came out the same year. They
was
feel so
also
different.
super mid, mind mind you.
Yeah.
Civil War was mid as fuck,
Civil War's
dude.
still better than
It's better,
BVS,
and it's still better than that. Like the one of the middest, not the worst, but one of the middest MCU movies
I think I
is
disagree
still.
there now. I would have agreed when it came out.
See, I
I
don't
think
think
a lot more
I
mid
don't
has
know
come
that there's
out
been I don't know that
since.
there's I think there's been much worse have come out. Much worse came out before. I don't think there's been one as mid, as unilaterally mid as Civil
Sure,
War. I think
sure. Um,
that is the midpoint of the MCU.
but
Literally, maybe.
probably at this point.
I
But yeah,
can't
so
math,
I
but
think I think the
might
idea
be.
of doing a Superman movie, a Batman versus Superman movie into a Justice League movie. I know that's kind of unpopular. I like that
I
trilogy.
I
I think it's a
it's yeah,
super solid
I
one
think
if
it's
you can do
fine.
some stuff in there to give it some
Sure,
just a
sure.
little extra gumption without it being things like and Zack Snyder loves this stuff like tie-in comic books and whatever homework
Right.
for your movie because that was the big when
Yeah,
these movies were
I
coming
ain't
out,
doing no
those of you who
homework for
don't
my movie,
remember,
man. Come on.
when these movies were coming out, the big thing was Zack Snyder loved a tie-in comic or an animated special or whatever that you had to watch to understand the movie. And he was so
Mhm.
big on making sure that those things were like pertinent information, which makes sense that it made the movie worse because of it. I remember when
Right.
BVS came out, the big thing was like, "Oh, if you haven't read the tie-in comic, the movie's gonna make no sense." And I'm like, "What do you mean? It's a movie. I want to watch a movie." And I was 16 years old when that movie came out. Um, but I think if you had released a Flash movie specifically and Wonder Woman, which did come out, maybe
Right.
Aquaman, all between BVS and Justice League, I think this
For sure.
movie
Yeah.
could have been great without having to introduce those characters outside of Wonder Woman,
Mhm.
who gets an introduction anyway.
Well, she was, yeah, that's fine. And I think, I mean, you said while we were watching this, the so to say main character of this movie should have been Cyborg, because he was had Flash been introduced in his own movie or even in a more major part in some other movie, Cyborg would be the only one who wasn't introduced and
Maybe
was
like
also
let
one
Wonder
of the
Woman
more major
release
players
and
of this movie.
introduce Flash in BVS instead of Wonder Woman.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, I could see it,
I don't know.
but I
It's
mean, even
Cyborg
the way they did
probably
it
should have been sort of
with
the
Wonder
like
do the Wonder
he should have
Woman
been the
movie
mainline
have a Flash
protagonist of
movie
this.
kind of thing, or even just yeah, for sure.
Just because he is sort of the catalyst for the plot of this movie happening. The basic plot is
Mhm.
Steppenwolf, who is a alliance member of Darkseid nephew, I guess. Is that the
He's one of his goons. I don't
I don't
know.
know
I
how it
don't
all
care.
works because I
He's
don't read
he's
comic
just
books
one
because I
of
don't know how
his
to read.
goons.
Um,
I've never read before.
Steppenwolf comes to get what the three mother boxes because they're recycling the plot of Man of Steel a
Mhm.
mere. Now at this point, I guess it's been 10 years since that movie came out, almost. But
Right. But
um,
now it's multiple MacGuffins instead of just the one.
right. And when these three MacGuffins come together, then the Earth is terraformed into Darkseid's home planet. And so Steppenwolf
Mhm.
is coming to Earth to get the three mother boxes, put them together so that Darkseid can come and take over the Earth. They've all been hidden in different areas. One of them has been hidden in with the Amazonians. They've hidden it, so that's Wonder Woman's
Yep.
people. One of them is hidden with the Atlanteans, which is Aquaman's
Yep.
people, and one of them is
And
hidden
then the humans,
with the
and they just
humans,
take it and they dig a little hole and they bury it.
which is everyone else's people: Batman, Superman, and the
Right.
Flash. I guess technically Superman, the Kryptonians, whatever. Superman's dead at this point. He doesn't matter. Um,
True.
Steppenwolf comes. He gets two of the three. By the point we paused it, he hasn't received the third one yet because we paused it at about the point where the third act kind of kicks off.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what we get to watch is really like not to be the problem is, and I understand we watched this movie not in the way it's designed to. I've said that already. I'm gonna say it again because I like this. At least when I saw it the first time, I liked this. 2 hours of your movie cannot be dedicated to character setup.
Right. Or at least it shouldn't be.
Two
Clearly, it
hours,
can be,
well,
but
sure.
it shouldn't be.
2 hours is the runtime of an average movie.
Right.
Dedicating 2 hours of your movie to simply character setup is so crazy to me.
Yeah, it's a little it's more than a little much. It's too much, you know. It's
And I know there's a lot of characters to introduce, you know? There is. You got to
sure.
introduce Flash, you got to introduce Cyborg, you have to apparently reintroduce Wonder Woman despite the fact that she's had her own solo
Of
movie.
course. Yeah.
Why 2 hours? And there are definitely scenes throughout these 2 hours where you can tell Zack Snyder is trying to pad this runtime.
For sure. Yeah. And a lot of it is that, right? Like it doesn't so much feel like it's padding the runtime as much as it feels like
Wasting the
he
runtime?
no, it's just well, yeah, but he shot everything, and you said this while we were watching it. With the Aquaman one specifically. It's like he made
I
one
forgot
of
about
them to
Aquaman, but
be
yeah.
cut. Like it's
There are literally
this
Aquaman's the only one
feels
that this
like,
happens to. There
and
are
I know
actually
this
two
is a
Aquaman introductions in this movie.
yeah, yeah, true.
His character is literally introduced 2 times in the same movie. Why are we doing that?
Well, because one was also the introduction of Bruce Wayne. He just happened to be meeting Aquaman. Then the other one is the introduction of Aquaman, and he's just drunk in a different place as opposed to being drunk in the other place where the Icelandic cult was singing to him.
The second introduction is cooler. I'll admit that.
It is. It's cracked. I mean, it's all trailer shots, but it's cool.
Um, And Batman doesn't need an introduction because this is a sequel to a movie where
Sure.
Batman is the main character.
Right. Kind of, yeah.
I mean, I would argue Batman's the main character of BVS. We talked about this last week, but it just
Well,
feels.
yeah.
This movie feels so much like Zack Snyder saying, you know what? I'm just going to do whatever I want to do. And because they gave me money to remake this. And once again, I think next week, I think the second half of this movie is going to just completely blow us out of the water. And I could eat those words next week when we're talking
It
about it.
might, yeah.
I think the second half of Justice League is going to be the greatest, one of the most fun episodes of the podcast we ever get to do, movie and discussion included. But the first half is just nothing.
It's yeah. It's almost it's the I mean we said this while watching it and also while watching the last movies that the first half of those movies were so much better and so much more fun, whereas this one is the opposite. The first half that is all we're talking about this week is it's suck ass ball fart diarrhea shit.
It really is. Like, I didn't want to say that, but.
But that's all. But like, what else can you call it? You know?
And there's not a ton to talk about. I mean, we get Wonder Woman's introduction, and it sucks because she's introduced in this cool like bank robbery thing. It's a cool setup. She does some really cool
It is.
slow motion
It's
like
a
bing bing
fun.
bing
It's
bing
a
bing
fun.
blocking bullets with her
Yeah.
wrist. And so she takes a bomb, and this is a summary of how kind of the whole first half of this movie goes. She takes this bomb
Mhm.
and she goes and she de-arms the bomb and then comes down and blows up the building that she just saved from a bomb.
Well, she slams her wrist and it does a big explosion, but it's not the same as the bomb, you know. It's
How?
different because the bomb would have been bigger,
How much
and
bigger?
this was focused. I think they said like fucking 4 blocks or
Okay. Well,
something.
she still blows up
So
the front of a building.
yeah, it's unnecessary. She could have just punched the dude, but
The
whatever,
Flash's
man.
introduction I really like. Let's talk about that.
Let's get there. Yeah, let's jump ahead to
Because
Flash,
Flash is
Central
is
City.
in the first half of this movie, he doesn't have much play. Probably 15 minutes worth of the 2 hours. In the second half, Flash is one of the more important characters, from what I
Right.
remember, at least, which makes
I mean, at
sense.
least the end. Yeah, he's the
And in
guy.
bringing Superman back from the dead, like it all kind
Oh
of
yeah,
centers around
that
him.
too.
Um, he's a very important character for the rest of this movie. Flash is a very powerful character, and his introduction, in my opinion, despite the fact that he gets on my nerves specifically, and I hate him, um, there's this whole introduction where basically he's applying for a job at it's a pound or something animal shelter or maybe it's just a pet store. I don't know. So he's going in to apply. A girl's walking out. It's Iris West. As she's leaving, he looks at her and he's like, "Aw, girl, you bad." But he doesn't make a move because he is very awkward, very strange. And he's just kind of a weird little annoying freak in this movie, specifically. Not Ezra Miller, who is also a weird little annoying freak, I should say. So she's leaving. He's going in. He's talking to the lady. While this happens, there's a big car crash. And they've been setting it up because a truck driver has dropped his burger on the ground and he's trying to pick it up and he can't pick it up and whatever. She's getting her car doesn't start, and then it finally starts, and then she gets to start driving. And these are those moments where like the runtime is really being just dragged out to show us stuff that we don't need to see. Car crash happens, and then we get to see Barry Allen, the Flash, aura farming in a way that's really cool, and in my opinion, some of the coolest and best stuff we get to see in the movie. He runs through, he shatters the front door, but it's slow motion, so it looks like liquid. He runs towards her, creepily caresses her face, but I won't go into that. But it is weird and it's a little creepy, and it's on brand for Ezra Miller. Grabs a hot dog, sticks it in his pocket, which was weird when he did it, but it was kind of a funny little thing. But the way it's shot and executed is so well done. Like it is, and I know we haven't seen much outside of like this movie, the Flash movie, and the CW show, but it is probably my favorite showcase of the Flash's powers, because not only is it like everything's in slow motion, it's like bullet time where everything is standing still and he's kind of walking through it. But the way they shoot it is fun. He's doing like little tiptoe steps, and he's kind of like sort of jogging but not really. And I like the way that they handle the Flash's powers in this. Of course, it's the blue lightning, not the yellow, which once again is kind of a weird choice, but makes sense coming off the fact that there was a very popular, or at least moderately popular, show about the Flash at the time. So doing something to differentiate yourself from that is nice, and it's just like weird blue realistic lightning, I guess. So he saves her, puts her on the ground, comes back into the store before anybody can even notice that he was gone, and now he's feeding the dog the hot dog that he got. And that's such a cool little scene. Um, that I think showcases what Zack Snyder does well in these movies, which is admittedly, for both the critics and the people who like these movies, it's aura farming, and he's really good at it. And aura farming is important. But the Flash's introduction, I think, is my favorite in this movie. From the Flash's introduction, we get introduced to Cyborg. Cyborg's introduction is also good, but not as good, in my opinion. When Cyborg is introduced, Cyborg gets introduced in this, like, the second time he's introduced, I should say, but he's reintroduced. His dad brings in and drops a recorder and is like, it's like he's a
he gives
dog
him
in a
the
cage. It's very strange.
right. He gives him the tape recorder which he listens to. Then we get the little narration thing, and then we
Well, and
get
then there's the
him
flashback.
his okay, yeah, we get the flashback to him being a football guy, and he he gets the touchdown even though he shouldn't have because he went out of bounds, but
Correct. Yeah, I can't go into that. It just makes me so frustrated because why would you shoot
right.
it that way?
But then he we see that do we see another shot of or another scene of him getting his
No,
cyborgness
that's later.
from
Wonder
the
Woman's looking
that's
out at the
later,
computer.
okay.
Yeah, we see the
Right,
car
right.
accident that
We see the yes.
caused him to
The
become a
car
cyborg
accident,
man.
and then we go into him going through machines. He's like activating his machine powers. He
He's
uses it
manipulating the
to
stock market.
he uses his hacking machine powers to connect to the computers and the all the computer machine things, and gives a bunch of money to some poor lady on the street
But
who's checking
all
the
of that is
ATM.
in his mind, except for the fact that
Maybe,
it
or
doesn't.
it's not, or it's intercut with scenes where he's actually out in the streets walking around with it. I don't know. It's
But it
stupid. It's
closes with him
nothing.
crushing the
And yeah,
the
then it ends
monologue
with him
playing
he
tape
crushes
recorder. Also, why
the
is this
narration
man in
tape.
2016 and or 2021, depending on when you believe this movie came out,
Right.
Why is this man, head scientist man, Cyborg's dad, recording this on a physical tape recorder?
Um, because comic book seems like it's like a comic book thing. It's like
Send
because
him a
it's like
voice note, dude. Voice notes were a thing already.
yeah, true.
It just, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. And this one, the Flash introduction is so great, contrasted with this one, which isn't awful, but is just not good.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. So we've gone through Wonder Woman's introduction, Flash's introduction, Cyborg's introduction. Does anyone else get introduced? I don't think so.
I mean, well, did we talk about Aqua? I mean, we briefly talked about
Aquaman. I
Aquaman.
keep forgetting about
There
Aquaman because
was
he's in
which is
so
weird
much
because
of
there were
this.
two. He's yeah. There was so there's the first scene
Of the
after
movie,
the
yeah.
Superman one,
After
or
the
well,
credits.
after the BVS credits. Yeah, there's Batman has a beard. He's riding a horse, and he's in Iceland, and he's looking for
So
Aquaman,
dumb.
and they have some stupid conversation, and then Aquaman goes off into the sea, and fucking the stupid Icelandic bitches sing some weird cult song,
Does
and
he
then
say you dress like a bat? I kind of like it in this cut of the movie, or is that just the Whedon? I can't remember.
I don't remember him saying that this time, so that might just be the Whedon
Dress
cut.
like a bat. Kind of like it.
I mean, that certainly sounds like a Joss Whedon line,
It
right?
does.
But no,
Kind
after
of
this
hot.
one, which kind of hot. Uh-huh. The
That
guy with
sounds
eight
like a
legs
Zack Snyder hot.
sounds hot,
Um,
but
and then there's the second introduction, which is where there's a ship that's sinking.
right.
Aquaman saves the guy, takes him to the bar, drops him off, and leaves.
And then, well, yeah, he leaves and Aura farms while chugging the fucking vodka or
It's
white
whiskey.
rum, whatever it was. It was clear though, whatever it
No, it
was.
was
It was
brown. He ordered whiskey.
was it
It was
the
brown,
the
man.
bottle looked clear, but
Well, it
maybe
was
I'm
mostly empty. He
misremembering.
got it when it was like half full.
That's okay, fair enough, yeah.
But
But
yeah,
then
no,
yeah,
it was
anyways, he
whiskey,
chugs that, then he smashes it, he aura farms with the waves crashing, and
which is so cool. It looks so cool. I
then
wanted to call it
there's the
stupid, but I can't. It's so
it's
cool.
no, it is it's sick, but it also is it's all trailer shots, like
Well, and that one specifically, nothing. It's
yeah,
cool, and either that's the introduction to Aquaman. I still think I said this while we were watching it. Move that. Do that scene,
sure,
then have that be the Icelandic town, and have Batman
right.
show up right at the end of that scene. But it comes out of nowhere, that one specifically, comes out of nowhere, does nothing to advance the plot, does nothing to tell us more about Aquaman, and it's just nothing. So
It's you know,
why are we
it's
doing
a
it? Why is
purely
it
aura
happening?
farming scene, yeah, and it is. You said when we were watching it, like this was made to potentially be cut, or for the other scene to potentially be cut. Like
Yeah,
this was
there were two Aquaman introductions shot because Zack Snyder liked them both and was like, one of these is going to
mhm.
get cut. The studio's going to tell me I can't keep them both. And in
But
the
there
Snyder
was
Cut,
no
he got to keep
studio
them
this
both.
time. Yeah, so
Because it was
and
COVID.
then we get there were I mean there was the Aquaman Atlantean bubble Steppenwolf scene. He gets the other mother box, beats up some Atlanteans, and then
Then that's kind of where we stopped. That's where we
that's
paused.
kind of just
Can we talk
yeah.
about the bubble for just a second?
Yeah, it's stupid. I
I
mean,
know
what's
you
there
don't
to
mind the
talk
bubble,
about?
but
Like
the bubble to
I don't
me
mind it. I like it in
speaks to the
concept. It's
overall
just
issue of this
dumb.
movie.
I like it because I don't have to see the
Awful
stupid
CGI
underwater
hair.
hair effect. Yeah, it's bad. But
The
yeah,
bubble
it
to
sucks.
me is just a classic case of over explaining and taking your movie just
Right.
too seriously.
Which is the Zack Snyder effect,
Right.
kind of. You know.
And it's I just I don't have time to go into the bubble as much as I would like to because
Right.
we've almost hit an hour.
That's yeah.
Um, the bubble to me is
That's all
just
she wrote.
so dumb and frustrating. And so if you haven't seen this movie or in a long time or whatever, when the when the Atlanteans speak to each other
Mhm.
because you can't talk underwater, despite the fact that they're fish people, they're Atlantean fish people, they can't talk underwater.
Well, to be fair, fish don't talk.
You don't think fish talk to each other, man?
Not the way we do. Maybe they talk some other way, but not,
Do they
not the
talk by
same way we
creating a
do.
giant air bubble?
Probably not, no. But I
Okay.
don't know how they do. I don't know what the alternative would be, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't know. It just makes me mad. Let's wrap it up,
Yeah, it
man.
sucks. It's stupid. That's all
I
she
think
wrote.
next
That's
week,
enough.
stay tuned. Come back next
Next
week.
week will be better. If you watch this and you haven't seen the Snyder Cut, watch that and then come back and
Yeah, for
watch next
sure.
week's. I think
Daniel's dad, if
that's
you
the way
haven't
to
seen the
do it.
Snyder Cut,
Yeah, which I don't think you have. I don't think you knew it existed until I
tell him you
mentioned
love
it.
him.
I love you, Dad. You're my dad. Um,
Thanks for watching, Daniel's dad. I also love you. Just I've never
like
met
and
you. I hope to
subscribe.
one day.
You're this dude's dad too, all things
That's true.
considered.
Yeah,
You're,
me and your
you're
boy
the second dad.
twins. My
Hey,
twin
my
just another
brother's
me.
another me. uh, thanks for watching. We're gonna play Fortnite now. We'll see you next time.
That's true.